Hello and welcome. In this lecture video, I'm going to be talking about the production budget and the direct materials budget and the schedule of cash disbursements for direct materials. So when we talk about the production budget, it's based upon the sales budget, and that relates back to some of those discussions that we talked about in the first lecture video, where you have to do the sales budget before you do the production budget. And again, if this is kind of confusing, just think about it in terms of the lemonade stand. That you need to know how many cups of lemonade you think you're going to sell before you decide how many cups of lemonade you'll make. Okay? So when we think about how many units do we think we're going to produce, which is what we want to know from the production budget, we're going to say we have to produce enough to cover our expected sales. So if we think we're going to sell 50 cups of lemonade, we have to make 50 cups of lemonade. But as I was saying in the first lecture video, you would also want to make some additional cups of lemonade just in case you have more sales than you anticipated. So if we think we're going to make 50 cups of lemonade, we might want to, or we think we're going to sell 50 cups of lemonade, we might want to make 55 cups of lemonade to have this desired ending inventory just in case more people want our lemonade than we thought, because we don't want to tell them we're out of lemonade, right? So we want to have some extra cups of lemonade that we can sell them so we don't have to tell them we're out of lemonade. Now, let's talk about this. This is kind of going back to the lemonade stand example. We think we're going to sell 50 cups of lemonade. We want to have 5 just in case we have more people that want to buy our lemonade than we thought. So that means we need to have 55 cups of lemonade. But let's say we have some lemonade left over from the previous day. We have 10 cups left over from the previous day that we think we can sell today. Well, we think tomorrow we're going to sell 50, but then we want to have an extra 5 just in case we have more sales than we thought. It means we need to have 55 on hand, but we have 10 left over from yesterday that we can sell the next day. That means we need to make 45. So I had 50 that I think I'm going to sell, plus additional 5 just in case, minus the 10 that I have left over from the previous day. That means 50 plus 5 minus 10. I need to make 45 cups of lemonade. So that's basically what we're dealing with here with Royal Company. It's the same idea. Now, if we think about this and says our desired ending inventory, the company wants to have ending inventory on hand equal to 20% of the following month's, the next month's budgeted unit sales. Okay, so it's 20% of the next month's budgeted unit sales. That is how we calculate our desired ending inventory in terms of units. So the production budget is all in units. There's no dollars in the production budget. It is all units. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to look back at the sales budget, and you're going to see, if you look back at the sales budget, in April, we expected to sell 20,000 units. And in May, we expected to sell 50,000 units. Okay. In terms of our desired ending inventory, we want to have inventory on hand equal to 20% of the next month's budgeted unit sales. So that means at the end of April, I want to have 20%. This is my ending inventory. I want to have 20% of May as my desired ending inventory for April. I want to have 20% of budgeted unit sales for May as my desired ending inventory for April. So what I'm going to do is multiply 50,000 times 0.2, which gives me 10,000. So my total needs, I add those two together, my total needs, I need 30,000 units. Now it says up here, on March 31st, which is the end of quarter 1, that's also the beginning of quarter 2, which is the beginning of April. So when you see this, you can interpret this as saying that's the beginning of April, which is the beginning of the quarter. So basically, beginning inventory is 4,000 units. Then what I can do is I can take my 30,000, which is my total needs, which is these two, minus my 4,000, means I need to produce 26,000 units in April. Okay? So remember, June was 30,000. So if I look over here, 30,000 times the 0.2, 6,000. I need to have 56,000 units. Now, what is my ending inventory for May? Well, let's look at what we did over here for our my beginning inventory for May. I got ahead of myself there. My beginning inventory for May is equal to my ending inventory for April. Just like over here, my beginning inventory for April was equal to my ending inventory for March. So remember, this is at 11:59 p.m., March 31st. You turn the clock 1 minute forward, it becomes beginning inventory for April. So I have 10,000 right there. Then I can subtract the 2, gives me 46,000. Okay, so what I want you to do, and we need July in here for reasons that we'll talk about in subsequent budgets, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to complete June and July, pause the lecture video and complete June and July, and then we'll check your work together. Hello and welcome back. So let's take a look and see how you did. So we can see June budgeted sales, which we got from the sales budget, 30,000. And then I also put in July budgeted unit sales that we got again from the sales budget, 25,000. 20%, 5,000 right over there. Add the two together, 35,000. And just like what we saw before, ending for the previous month becomes beginning for this month. 35,000 minus the 6 gives us the 29,000. And then if you were to look at August, the sales budget, we anticipated 15,000 units. 20% of the 15,000 is 3,000. Add those two together, get 28,000. Ending for June becomes beginning for July. Subtract the 2, then we have 23,000. And again, remember the production budget is all in units, okay? So let's take a look at the next budget, which is going to be the direct materials budget, okay? So the direct materials budget is dependent upon the production budget. And again, if this is confusing, think about this from the standpoint of a lemonade stand, okay? So we wouldn't go out and just think about buying 50 boxes of lemonade mix. What would drive our decision in terms of how much lemonade mix to buy? How many cups of lemonade we think we're going to make? That's what would dictate our decision on how much lemonade mix we need to buy. And lemonade mix would be direct materials for making lemonade. Okay, so we need to look towards the production budget to figure out how much materials we need to purchase and how much materials we need to have. Okay, so we have to have some other assumptions right over here. We know that we have 5 pounds of material for each unit. Okay, that would be like saying we have half a cup of lemonade mix for every cup of lemonade. That would be a lot of lemonade mix for a cup of lemonade, but we like it really sweet. Okay, management wants to have materials on hand at the end of each month equal to 10% of the next month's production needs. Similar idea to what I've been talking about before is you want to have some of that desired ending inventory on hand just so you don't have stockouts and you turn customers away saying we're out of lemonade. Okay, so we have to have some materials to make those extra cups of lemonade. We also have beginning materials inventory is 13,000 pounds, so that's beginning for the quarter. And then we have materials costs is 40 cents a pound. And similar to what we talked about with the production budget, we have our required purchases of materials is going to be equal to the amount that we have to have for production, which is from the production budget, plus any desired ending materials inventory, which relates to that, minus any beginning, which relates to that. Okay, so that is our formula that guides our decision for our direct materials budget. So let's take a look on the next page at completing our direct materials budget right over here. So if we look back to the production budget, we would see that in April, we were going to make 26,000 units. In May, 46,000 units. In June, 29,000 units. And then we can add for the quarter 101,000 units total. We were told on the prior page that each unit requires 5 pounds of direct materials. So I'm going to multiply those units times 5. That becomes my production needs. 130,000 pounds right over there. 230,000 pounds right over there. 145,000 pounds right over there. And then I'm going to leave the quarter blank because we'll come back to that. My desired ending inventory, if we look on what it was saying on the prior page, is we need to have 10% of the next month's production needs. So this is my production needs for May. 10% of that is $23,000. Can add the two, 153. Now we were told on the prior page that the beginning inventory was 13,000 pounds. Means our required, and this is really purchases. That's how much we have to purchase. I'd cross that out and say purchases. And then we were told on the prior page that the materials cost 40 cents per pound. This is pounds. 140,000 pounds, 13,000 pounds, 153,000 pounds, 23,000 pounds, 130,000 pounds. This is units. The rest of these are all in pounds. This will be in dollars, okay? 140,000 times 40 cents a pound, which means we will spend we will purchase $56,000 worth of direct materials, okay? So now let's look at May really quickly here. So we say, again, 10%, add the two, that gives us that 244,500. Now, beginning inventory for May, just like what we saw with the production budget, is ending inventory for April, 23,000. Subtract these two, and then that gives us our required purchases of 221,500. Multiply that times the 40 cents per pound. That gives us 88,600. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the lecture video and complete June for me. And then we'll review June, and then we'll do the quarter together. Okay, so let's see how you did. So we have to calculate our desired ending inventory for June. The way we do that is we look at our July production, which was 23,000 units, times the 5 pounds per unit, times 10%, and then that gives us our desired ending inventory for June. We add those two together, put our production needs here, plus our desired ending inventory, 156,500. Ending for May becomes beginning for June. Subtract the two, 142. Multiply it times 0.4. $56,800 is the right answer. When we look at the quarter, so I take my total production right over here of 101 times the 5 gives me the 505 right over here. Now, what is my ending inventory for the quarter? It's the ending inventory for June, because that is the ending inventory. June is the end of the quarter. So that's my ending inventory for the quarter, because the end of June is the end of the quarter. We add those two together. That gives us our 516,500. What is the beginning inventory for the quarter? It's 13,000, because April is the beginning of the quarter. Then we subtract those two, 503,500, and then we multiply times 0.4, 201, 400, and then we have completed our budget. Okay, thank you so much.